All right. We're live in the Unstoppables. Bobby, man, how are
Oh,
you?
I'm just pumped up by that intro. Look at that clock, the timer. I was like, let's get going.
Yeah, it's so epic. I know, I love it too, man. Hey, look, I'm laughing because we were having this high vibe conversation about Clubhouse and
Right.
exciting things, and man, this is so much fun. I've been jumping live this week, like I don't know how many times, and now we're really gonna get into this Clubhouse things. And anyway, this is something that we're gonna talk later. But today we got Bobby, who is one of my amazing connections that I met on LinkedIn, and as usual, we are streaming on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and YouTube. And if you guys are watching live, please type live and let us know where you're watching from. If it's the replay, of course, I want you to type replay. And if you're on Facebook, I want this little heart button, just smash it so we see all this love coming up. And yeah, oh yeah, that way. Man, you better than me on that. So hey, welcome to the Unstoppables live show, Bobby. It's a freaking amazing pleasure to have you here. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm super pumped about this because again, I love your energy too and the value you deliver. So yeah, this will be fun.
Thanks, man. Likewise. So hey, well, I'm gonna introduce you a little bit, and then I'm gonna ask a bunch of questions. I'd like you to introduce yourself as well. But look, everyone in this show, this is the Unstoppables, and I always bring people that feel unstoppable when I see them for the first time, and we build the connection because there's some kind of energy that even though we haven't talked for. You see someone, you don't talk to them, but you feel they're doing something different, something good, and you're one of these people, man. And I'm glad that we connected on LinkedIn because when we jump on a call and I learn a little bit more about what you do, and you're good at storytelling, creating content, all this sort of stuff, and also building relationships, which we talk a lot about building relationships in the entrepreneurial journey, but you mentioned something in your LinkedIn profile, which is building relationships internally for companies to succeed. So this is my super brief introduction about Bobby. Now, let me ask you something. Who is Bobby Umar?
Whoa. Well, I mean, for the most part, I'm a professional speaker and travel around the world speaking, doing 1,000 talks over four continents. And
Wow.
speaking was the biggest thing of my brand. I was a 5-time TEDx speaker. I'm Inc. Magazine's top 100 leadership speakers, alongside people like Richard Branson, Bernie Brown, and John Maxwell. But then the pandemic hit, and so things have changed, right? And so what I would say is that speaking, and I have online programs and I have a book, but ultimately we're all experts in some areas. So that's really where it is. Where am I an expert in? My expertise is really in the idea of connecting with people. So that's why I focus on storytelling, personal branding, confident communications, digital marketing, and things like, and building meaningful relationships. So for me, that's the connection piece is a big part of it. So I've had to pivot. I mean, I still do virtual keynotes and virtual training for sure. So that's part of what I do. I do miss the stage of 1,000 people. Like I like that energy, but for
Yeah,
the most part, I'm someone who is an expert in building meaningful, authentic connection with, whether it's within your teams, whether it's with your clients outside, whether it's with your entire, social media following. But that's really, whether you're networking people, that's kind of where I focus a lot of my time and energy. And so, yeah, I mean,
so
that's what I do. And I'm also a dad, which is a big part of who I am, big part of my legacy.
of
And
course.
those are probably the two biggest things that I care about, helping my kids and helping people go from good to great, and help them better with their brand, with their thought leadership, with their storytelling, with their content.
Of course, man. Well, I must say you're in Canada, right? Is that
Yeah,
right?
that's right. I'm wearing
And
this Toronto shirt. Home of the Toronto is my city where I live. Yeah.
of course, I know someone really cool from Toronto, like a speaker as well. He's big in brand intelligence. So yeah, one of the things that I liked about you, man, it's been like you've been one of the most consistent people that I've seen on social media, and this is something that right away makes people stand out because, and it, on social media you see people coming in, coming out, people trying things and giving up, and then you see this someone who they every day they show up, day in, day out, content, pumping up content. And I was looking at the content, I'm like, wow, how can he post every day like pieces of valuable content like every single day? So man, good job, man. You're doing an awesome job.
Thank you.
Look, we got in the Unstoppables. We got Russell Stuff watching. I'm not sure where he's watching, but hey man, thanks for jumping on. So my second question, Bobby, would be, tell us about what is the most important project that you're working on right now. And I know that you work with companies, you do like a lot of stuff, but what is the thing that sets your ass in fire every morning to wake up?
Wow. Well, I think that's a good question. I mean, I could talk about Clubhouse because it's so exciting, but
go ahead.
But you know what? Let me talk about. I mean, I'm personal branding. It's the one. Like personal branding is the key to everything, and because if you want to create better communications, then dive into your personal brand and make it more aligned. If you want to generate more leads for your business, you got to know your brand and know your target audience. If you want to wrap up your career and get that promotion or become that next vice president, then build your brand and start networking and building relationships in an authentic way. And so for me, personal branding is really it's the foundation for everything I'm doing. So if you want to be a better storyteller, personal branding. If you want to be a more confident communicator, personal branding. And so for me, personal branding is the one that I love. You know, so I've created I've been doing personal branding workshops for years, like over 10 years. And when COVID hit, I was like, you know what, let's take my workshop and let's put it into a course. So we put it into a very comprehensive course because the course has like 30 videos, 30 exercises and questions, and about 20 hours of homework to really dive deep in that process. And what I can tell you about personal branding too is that a lot of people, they spend all their time, personal branding is broken down into 3 areas: discover your brand, design your brand, and then deliver your brand. And most people are always in number 2, which is designing your brand. They're strategizing, they're optimizing, they're coming up with tactics and ideas and how do I get this brand to work. And what they don't do, and when they launch, whether they launch a lead generation for their business or a lead generation for their career, or whether they launch like a digital marketing platform for LinkedIn, it may have 50, 60, 65% efficiency because it's based on what they know and a couple of friends have given them advice or they've talked to a coach. But if they do the work to dive deep into the discovery part of their brand, self-analysis, feedback from your network, really hone in on your target audience, then what happens is you get more focus, clarity, and alignment with everything. And now it's 85, 95, 99%. That's when the magic happens with your business lead generation, with your career growth, with your digital marketing content. And so that's why I think personal branding, the diving deep into it, the discovery piece is so important. So for me, I'm putting a lot of energy into this because my startup is called DYPB, Discover Your Personal Brand. We have this flagship course. I'm launching in a couple weeks a thought leadership branding 5-day session that's free to promote the importance of branding and then let them know about my program and the coaching group. And then on Clubhouse, I recently launched a thought leadership branding club, which now has 1,500 followers. So for me, everything around that personal branding, thought leadership branding piece is really the foundation for what I'm trying to do out there to help individuals and organizations. Because even if you go to organizations, right, and you help people understand their brand, they're going to become more aligned, more focused, more productive, more loyal, and that's what you want. Yeah. And some companies say, well, yeah, but what if I do this thing and one person doesn't align with my company brand, they leave? I'm like, you want them to leave. They're not aligned with you.
Totally.
So that's what I'm putting all my energy into.
Yeah, that's great, man. I love what you say because the thing is that all the cool kids talking about personal brand because it seems to be something from the 21st century. And the thing is that, look, at the end of the day, your personal brand is you, who you are, your values, what your principles, and what you're up to in the world. And I think one of the reasons most people struggle. Most people struggle in corporate, and I can say that confidently because when I started my coaching career, I wanted to help people with anxiety in corporate. And when I looked at the numbers, I realized that between like 50 and 60% of people working in corporate, specifically in the UK, because I was doing research in the UK, were having anxiety problems. Only people working at a job, at a career. And I think one of the reasons is that we don't understand what's our personal brand, and we don't understand what's the company's brand that we're working for. Because if we connect with the CEO, if we connect with the owner, if we connect with the principles and values of the company and they align with ours, then there's not going to be that much suffering, because working long hours is not going to feel like suffering, and you're going to feel like you're making an impact, which you can make even if you're not an entrepreneur. So good job, man. I love it. I just wanted to say hello to Angela Tsai. She's watching from London as well. We got a few people from London today. Awesome. I love it. So look, this is one of my favorite questions. What would you like to be remembered for the day that you're not here anymore?
Wow.
There's a lot of the questions, I know.
Well, I mean, the first thing I think about is my family. So like my kids, I want to be remembered as a good father, a good son, a good brother, someone who may be a good grandfather, assuming my kids have kids, but somebody who really put made family a priority, and that's one thing. And then I think the second thing is, I've always been somebody who's, I'm kind of a teddy bear, very affectionate. I love love. I love hugs. So for me, if people remember that, I was someone who had a huge heart and a huge lot of love, and every time I entered into a conversation or a connection or an embrace of somebody, I left. I hope people felt warmed by my presence, and they left me better off than when they first came in to see me. So that's what I want to remember.
Yeah, it takes a little. I ask this question because I usually talk with a lot of entrepreneurs and people who are supposed to be making a big impact in the world, and you find that the answers that most people give is simple answers like that. We think that we need to fly to the moon to make a big impact in the world, and sometimes it takes so little as changing someone else's life and being affectionate.
And notice there's no money or no achievement, no specific like landmark achievement or lots of money. I mean, those are things, but for me, those other things matter more.
Yeah, absolutely. We got Laura Rosenberg watching as well. I think she might be in East Europe, if I'm not wrong. Laura, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Bill Tesla, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. This StreamYard doesn't let people show the names unless they register, so it's a little bit weird. So good. Thanks, man, for sharing that. Another question that I've got is well, we've gone pretty quick, but I would like to talk to you about Clubhouse, because it seems to be like the cool thing that everyone's talking about. So we're gonna wait for a second. First, before that, I would like to ask you if you were Latvia. Laura is in Latvia. So if you were to give the best killer piece of advice that you could give to the people watching here, what would it be?
Wow. I would say the best piece of advice that I can give you is that investing in yourself and knowing yourself to better yourself will make everything better. So, diving into your brand, diving into your health, diving into mental well-being, and understanding where you are, what are the challenges, what are the struggles with your narrative, your mindset, your confidence, things like that, and your health. Because what I say is a better you is a better everything else. If you have a better mindset, you have a better health, a better alignment with your personal brand, then everything else there will be better too. You'll have better relationships, better family stuff, better clients, better business, better growth. And so I think a lot of people don't take the time to invest in themselves and really truly understand themselves deeply across all different areas and work to improve themselves. And if you do that, I think you're going to improve your life in such a profound way. I can't even tell you how important those things are. And Absolutely. For years I hustled and didn't learn those things. I was hustling so much I was hustling, to build a life, but I wasn't actually living my life. And so I often say, don't hustle for life, hustle for a life. and that's so
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, that's so true. I realized that when I was 29, and it was like I was working in corporate, and I was rushed into a hospital because I was almost dying from out of a stroke, and after that I kind of am like, okay, hang on a second, what am I doing here? So I got into a psychologist because I thought I had a problem, and then she's like, well, Carlos, you stressed out. I was like, okay, tell me more. What's happening? So anyway, long story short, I started reading personal development books, and I realized that there was something more than being a dickhead and treating people badly and trying to make money and build a successful life. Because I had everything I wanted in life, everything I thought I needed, but I wasn't happy, I wasn't fulfilled, I had anxiety, and I couldn't sleep at night. And when I realized that, I had very little savings, and I said, you know what, I'm going to put everything I can into learning what you just said here, which is investing in myself and learning new things. And it took me 10 solid years to monetize that. But during these 10 years of journey, it's been amazing, because I say all the time, it's not about achieving your goals, it's about working towards your goals. That makes
and you know what's interesting is that the same crisis happened to me. I was working so hard to make it in the world, and then what happened was I had a health issue too. I became diabetic, and my health and my stress levels were, and I had a panic attack. And then my wife almost died of E.coli, and the two of us, I took care of her for 2 months, and I left my work, and we just said, what are we doing with our lives? What's important to us? And we had to change how we did things. And that's the first time I decided, let me figure out what I really want to do. Let me dive in my brand, really figure this out, and find something that aligns with me. And that was 15 years ago, and I haven't looked back.
Wow, that's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. I love hearing about people's stories, because we all can relate in some part or the other. So thanks for sharing, man. Oh, we've got Brian Bashan here. Oh, Brian was with us. He's in Toronto as well, and he was with Indian Souls last week. Fuck, Brian is amazing. He's truly an amazing individual. So look, I'd like to, because one of the things when I got into corporate, one of the things that got me super disengaged was the fact that it was all about profit, make money, and managers, and I was one of the manager. Right. And I was treating people in a poor way, because that was what I had been taught, and that was what I thought I should be doing. And you are an expert at turning things around, and I'm understanding that is this relationship that you build not only with your clients but with your employee, who, by the way, are your clients as well. So how can I would like to know what's like an example of a company that doesn't have this culture, and what happens when you turn it around?
Well, the key thing is that there's a couple things. So one is when you improve the relationships with the people in your organization, you'll find over the long term you get greater trust, they have greater confidence in their abilities, and ultimately it leads to greater productivity. So that's the first thing. The second thing is when you create a greater culture within the team that is built on trust, that is built on open communication, that's built on allowing for an opportunity to fail and learn and grow and evolve as a team, as an organization, then again, that also affects the overall growth of the company. The problem that a lot of companies have is that corporations, that they don't want to make that investment because it's a bit of a you have to kind of go a little bit lower before you go back up again, and that 3 to 6 months, they're like, oh yeah, but what if I don't want sales to go down? But you have to do that hard work to really build that foundation so that you can go fly. And so, building that one-on-one relationship with mentorship with, bosses and their employees, having open communication with their teams, having some transparency. I mean, every time I go into do a team building session for a corporation on culture or team building, it's amazing to see, like, if you can create and establish really great tools and strategies for better, effective communication, it's amazing how much growth they'll have just from that. Just even the small thing of communicating a little bit better and knowing each other a little bit better, it makes a huge impact overall. So imagine if you actually have this as an ongoing, quarterly, yearly, every half year thing to really, build that culture. I think then that's when companies and individuals in the company can fly.
Yeah, interesting, interesting. Like, it's an interesting concept, and I think depending on where you are in the world, is something that it's being implemented more or less. In Spain, unfortunately, we're not there yet. That's one of the reasons I'm not in Spain anymore. But the thing is that what used to happen in companies in Spain, and it still does, is that you feel like these people, you pay people to work, therefore you own them, right?
Right, right. Yeah.
Look, like it's like that to the extent that when I went to Australia and I was living in Australia and I was working, I was cleaning in a cleaning company for a guy. And at the end of the day, he was my boss, and he would say, "Thank you, Carlos. Thank you for your help." And this got me thinking. I'm like, "Thank you? Are you not gonna pay me? Why you should be thanking me?
Right.
It's money." So I wasn't used to being like friendly and thankful with your employees, because you pay them, so you own them, so you can tell them to do whatever. And that is when I started learning. Oh, okay, so actually there can be a relationship between the bosses and the employee, right? And I found it was super cool. So it's amazing what you're doing, because I think we need it a lot. We need it a lot.
No, I agree. I agree that, and especially now in COVID, the last 12 months have gone by, and cultures are transforming, and most companies don't know what's going on. They don't know how their employees feel. They don't know how they feel about coming back or having a mix. Is it virtual? Is it live? How do we navigate this? And so I think cultures are changing. So it's inherent upon companies to now start investing and having conversation with their teams and with their individuals and their corporations to say, how are you feeling? What's going on? Let's do some surveys. Let's figure out what's going on with our culture, because they are shifting a lot.
Yeah, totally interesting, super interesting. I love the topic. Hey, look, guys. By the way, people can follow you on. I'm not sure if you're part of the Unstoppables group, but you should be. So I'm gonna tag you above. I'm gonna put the link to your LinkedIn as well, and I would put your handle for Clubhouse. Now, we got about 8 minutes ahead of us, but tell us a little bit of Clubhouse, because you just confessed to me that you're running your Clubhouse show while you're washing your dishes, and that got me in, because I want to run my Clubhouse show as well. So can you give us a little bit for the people who are sitting on the phone?
So here's why Clubhouse is so amazing. Number one, it's audio only. So just like podcasts are the most easily digestible content, you can listen to a podcast while doing the dishes, going for a run, going for a drive, things like that. You can actually be on Clubhouse and be doing those things because you're just listening to it and you're just talking. Number two, it has really deep, intimate conversations, because your people are missing connections. So you're having these conversations with 3, 5, 10, 20 people, and it's really powerful. There's also some major influencers on there like Gary Vaynerchuk and Grant Cardone, who are having conversations with people and delivering a ton of knowledge. On top of that, it's leading to tons of conversation afterwards. So people are reaching out to me and DMing me on LinkedIn and Instagram to talk about what I'm doing. So I've only been there for 4 weeks, okay? And I now have 2,300 followers. I started a club called Thought Leadership Branding, which now has 1,500 followers. And so this is just for iPhone users. So like this is growing like crazy. I think it's the next big thing. And so I've invested time and energy into it in the beginning. A lot of time. It's very addictive. You have to set boundaries. You got to set boundaries. And so I host a daily LinkedIn Mastery show at from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we do it, but I have a series of 10, I have like 10 LinkedIn experts. And so we take turns. So now instead of me doing 2 hours a day for 6-7 days a week, I'm now doing 4 or 5 hours per week. And when I am doing it, I'm often doing the dish. I'm cooking dinner for my kids because it's I tried to integrate into my life. And so it's gone really, really well, and I'm very excited about it. And actually, just today on LinkedIn, I announced that we're looking for content creators, people who want to actually host sessions under our Thought Leadership Branding Club. Because if you do a session under our club, it'll automatically notify our 1,500 followers. So that's out there.
I'm so in. I'm so in. I'll have time for nothing, but I'll make time for this. It sounds amazing. So hey, look, just one last question for you. And we've gone off the script, like completely off the script today. I forgot to send you the questions that I usually ask. So we've improvised everything, which is cool. I'd like to know, what is the most useless talent that you have?
The most useless talent. Oh man, you know what? Oh, okay. This is so funny. I know so much 80s trivia. It is ridiculous.
Right.
So when but specifically, TV theme songs, I know all of them, and I can sing them all the words to every TV show from the 80s, because I was a TV junkie back then. I just know all the words. And so I remember I was in a pub, and they had this thing, 80s TV trivia, TV theme trivia, and I was like, this is ridiculous. I destroyed it. I knew every single question. So yeah, that would be some useless knowledge that I have.
Man, you definitely, this is one of the most useless talents that. Well, look, I can still see how you can have some fun with it when you know, like having some fun with friends and drinking and stuff. So it could be worse, but it's a good one. Yeah. Russell saying impressive. Man, you see, you've impressed someone with your talents.
I only impress old people, not the young folks.
Man, that's been epic. So hey, Bobby, I'll look forward to joining you on Clubhouse, and I'm gonna make some time for that. And just, man, thanks for your energy, thanks for your time. It's amazing to have you here. And yeah, look, you're gonna share with me your handle for Clubhouse, so we can put it in the copy of this video. And if people want to join you on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram, I'll put all the links, everything here. Sure. So yeah, let's do this.
I love it. Thanks so much, Carlos. This is a lot of fun. You have some great questions. I love it.
I make it all up.
That's great.
All right. Thanks, Bobby. Thanks. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take care.